Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to call this meeting to order at 4:30. And if you'll join me for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll start with roll call. Commissioner Ryan. I was going to say Commissioner Paul, not present. Commissioner Spann. Present. Carol Rogers, present. Leila Sackfield.
Here.
Natalie Martinez.
Present.
And Jacqueline, can't remember your last name.
It's all right. Kelleher.
I'm
present.
All right, and we'll start with oral communication.
And we do have oral communication, so I'm just going to call everybody up one by one. First is Damon Blackman. So you can come up and then just right up front to the dais. And then it'll be Mark Zimmer after. And you have 3 minutes if needed.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I am Damon Blackman, a 33-year employee of the Escondido High School District, and I oversee after-school programs at our high schools. I'm here to respectfully request that our local Escondido artists be included in the public presentation process. Local art is most important when it's rooted in a local voice. Escondido has a long, rich artistic history shaped by creators who have contributed to this community for decades. These artists don't just make art, they tell the story of who we are. Excluding them from presenting their own proposals disconnects the community from both its past and its future. I urge the Commission to consider the Escondido artists in the presentation process that honors our community's past, elevates local talent, and ensures future projects remain authentically Escondido. Thank you.
And then we have Mark Zimmer.
Good evening. My name's Mark Zimmer, and I'm a resident of Escondido. I feel that that the artists that applied for the roundabout project should be able to give their presentations and for Escondido. I would like to see the artwork that's created from people that live here in the roundabout. Thank you.
And then we have Ryan Ferguson.
Hi, my name is Ryan Ferguson. I'm an Escondido resident as well, and I'd like to thank all of you for taking on this Herculean task of bringing up more art to Escondido. And I'm in agreement with the first two speakers. I'd love to see some of the art proposals as well as backgrounds and include some of our local talent in that group if their proposals are worthy and it's something we want to actually see in Escondido.
And then we have James Stone.
Can you hear me? First, thank you very much for giving me my 60 seconds or 3 minutes or whatever I get. The first thing I'd like to say is all of you know that I am married to the chair, Carol Rogers, We have had zero communication about this project. She has recused herself not only from the city, but from her husband as well, considering this project. So anything I have to say, please do not think that she has had any input. As many of you know, you've seen my what I wrote to the paper, and you know my feeling that this process has been faulted dramatically. I think the city is at risk if you follow this path. The easiest way to resolve it is to allow the 3 Escondido artists to be allowed to present to the city of Escondido and see what the public has to say about their artwork. That's the simplest way. The next way would be recall the RFQ. You've already recalled it once, rewrite it, and make it specifically for artists in Escondido, which is pretty standard in the public art world. And then, of course, the third way is ignore everyone and just go on with what you're going to do. And pick that artist. I hope you pick that artist in Portland, Oregon, and we'll see what happens then. So I'm just here on behalf of the other 2 artists and myself and all artists in Escondido, to say that if you're going to hand out an RFQ, whether it's for a painting or a sculpture or whatever, and it's going to be in our city, and the RFQ called for it to be authentically Escondido. I just cannot imagine how your artist in Portland or in Fallbrook is going to know what authentically Escondido is. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you hear what I had to say, and please do not target my wife.
And then we have, I'm sorry, I think it's Duffy Healy. Duffy, I think it's Healy. Healig? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry that I mispronounced your last name, I'm sure. Healy, thank you.
Hello. Thanks for your time. I'm here just to kind of take a different approach. I'm totally pro. You guys are doing a great job on allocating $500,000 of public artwork. That's a huge step. So congratulations to that. I've been on other marketing committees before. One, we had a $13 million public art project, art park, and basically I see a similar case study as something I worked on before, but I really would like to see Escondido become a world-class sculpture garden, sculpture trail. It would be so easily to establish, but I just think taking a big chunk of $500,000, for instance, and putting all your eggs in one basket, I really think you could distribute that money in a different way, get creative. I mean, half that budget, you could probably get 6 more beautiful sculptures along Grand Street. I think the key about getting good public artwork is people want to take selfies and have a really good memory. And the more sculptures you have out in the public art space, I think the better the city will be. Good art elevates everything. It elevates mindset. It elevates attitude. It elevates real estate. And most importantly, if we have sculptures along Grand, it will support the local businesses. I know how hard they're working. I've had a studio in art gallery before, and we need as much foot traffic downtown as possible. So I just hope that could be considered as trying to cut the cake and sharing the love. But that's it. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
And then we have Melissa Ralston. Okay. Adrian Stewart.
Sorry, I have to move the mic up a little bit. Good afternoon. Firstly, I want to thank you for your public service to the arts in Escondido. I've been in this arena for some 2 decades and worked in many different places around the United States in the arts, and it's just wonderful that you've dedicated your time and effort and energy to help build this city as an artistic destination. So thank you for that. I'm only here for this portion of the conversation regarding the encouragement of you to look at local artists. As president of Escondido Art Association, we're all about growing local arts and culture and nurturing, promoting, and advancing those people who are here. I am myself an Escondido resident, about 2 blocks from here. And so I want to just encourage you to consider carefully the use of local artist talent. There's some brilliant talent here. We've discovered it through the association. And if we could tell that story, it's just a wonderful win for everybody. So I also would encourage the words of others to say that we look at local culture and arts and talent. Thank you, and I will speak to you shortly.
Is Melissa Ralston here? No? Okay. That's it for the public comment.
Thank you. Moving on to,
Oh. Sorry, Colin, Janet? And then Melissa Ralston is not here, correct? Sorry, let me backtrack over. And it's Colin.
Hi, I'm Colin from Glasshouse Arts. We build a large-scale sculpture and a workshop here in Escondido. I wanted to thank you all for the grant last year to bring STAR to the Art Center. It was a really big and exciting thing for us. We submitted to the Grand Roundabout process and didn't make the finals, and that's fair. But I did notice none of the other Escondidos made it too, right? And I feel like part of the reason is that the rubric rated really heavily towards like paperwork and track record with public agencies. And really a minority of that was on the art itself, right? And that's a process that favors established artists and firms who have done this before. And that's not a scandal. They're qualified. They're good at that. But public art's not a deliverable, right? It's a relationship that is created between us. And I really feel like the local artists stay around, right? So there's the next installation, there's the maintenance, there's the school groups, there's the sort of whole process around it, the projects that come later. So, you know, when you invest in local artists, it's that creative infrastructure that you're building up, not a product that you're buying, right? So I'm not here to ask for a do-over or do things differently. I'm just saying going forward, like thinking about the process that builds that pipeline and really instead of prioritizing like easy to manage process, you know, artists and things that sort of, you know, will be guaranteed to deliver, saying, hey, there's this $500,000 piece that represents Escondido. Maybe look at the folks who are doing ambitious work here and taking chance and making a process in the future that has room for that. So, thank you.
And then we do have one more, and it's Annika Dorman.
Hello, I've been an Escondido resident for the last 15 years. I love art, I love the environment, I love my city. Born and raised San Diego as well, so always local. And I just wanted to speak similar vein to the last speakers that I do support community art and local artists, and I would love to see local artists considered for this project. I do think it really enhances people's connection to art. To know that that artist is local. Obviously, that might influence how it's presented, how they interact with it. I personally would love to be able to say that I knew the artist or that they lived down the street or have a personal connection to the community as well. So just wanted to speak in support of allowing the Escondido artists to present their ideas as well. Thank you.
Just to make sure there's nobody else. Yeah, okay.
okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 1 on the agenda, to review and approve the minutes from our November 17 meeting. If you've all had an opportunity to review them, I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second that motion.
And the voting should be open. Thank you. Okay, it's approved 5-0, and Commissioner Sackfield is abstaining.
Okay, and moving on to item number 2, community requests, the Escondido Art Association Kids Kaleidoscope.
Gosh, I'm a little embarrassed to talk twice when I've never been inside the chambers in my life. So nice to meet you all. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Ginger Martinson, who's also my partner for this project. I've been in Escondido for many years, but only recently joined as serving president for the Escondido Art Association. It's also been my privilege to spend some 20 years administering arts organizations, from the Dallas Theater Center to the San Diego Repertory Theater and Lyceum in Horton Plaza for 5 years. So I'm sort of familiar with the idea, but a little bit new to EAA. One of the first programs that caught my attention was not all of the work that we do for the established artists, which we do all year round, but I had a conversation with our leadership. What are we doing for the next generation of artists? What are we doing for the future artists of Escondido? And we have classes. We have Kids Art Camp. We have Saturday classes down on Grand Avenue with Ms. Cara. So we do a lot already. But one of the projects that caught my attention was Kids Kaleidoscope. We take our Grand Avenue gallery, a professional art gallery on Grand that has professional artists in all the other months of the year, and we dedicate it to exhibiting and displays in a professional exhibition the work of Escondido students and youth. We pre-curate it. We help them with all the process of mounting and displaying their work, so it's all professionally displayed and labeled. We recruit from all aspects of the community, from different levels within the educational system, all the way up to high school. And for the high school students, we do have an awards program, and we give them some money towards their inevitable college career, we hope, in the arts, based on their submission. So we're doing the entire spectrum of young people in this community. One of the most exciting things about it is witnessing it, which I did last year and was not part of the leadership of EA, but as a guest. And you saw mothers, fathers, aunts, uncles, tios, tias, all of the different relatives coming in to see their students' artwork displayed in a professional gallery with the grand opening. And you could see it was transformative for them. They had not been in an art gallery on Grand Avenue before. So it's driving not just the young people's experience of affirming their art journey, but it's also bringing in their families who will then support them on that artistic journey. So really everybody comes away with it. We do have the series of awards, and the awards, other than the high school students who win the awards for their scholarship, the rest are art materials that they may or may not be able to purchase or access themselves. They're all to encourage this journey that the young person has gone on. Ginger Martinson has done this now this will be her 3rd year. I can tell you she is a force of nature. I am myself cowed by her energy and her diligence and her discipline. She's one of the first people I met with said, "Right, Adrian, here's the agenda." And I said, no, I set the agenda. No, Ginger sets the agenda. So we have a fantastic person who's doing it. She has a great reputation. She's a mother herself, and she's dedicated to bringing the arts forward from young people in this community. And I'll ask her to say a few words in just a second. I just want to close with one other thought that I want to share with you. And it's sort of a discussion I've had with a number of the city leaders, that it's my sense that there is an art renaissance happening in Escondido. Our galleries now, we're now exhibiting in the Escondido Library, some 17 pieces of work. We're have 60 or so pieces of work in exhibition at the North Island Credit Union, which is an entirely different exposure, and another 56 pieces in our exhibitions that are happening on Grand. We're all over the community, and we're just part of it. It's happening across the board. It's not just us. And I really feel that is exciting. It is exciting for the city, and there's a momentum gathering, and I'm not sure anyone's actually ever told you, gosh, all your work is resulting in a renaissance. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to ask Ginger to say a few words in addition to what her role will be with the organization. Go ahead, Ginger.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm Ginger Martinson, and like you said, I've chaired the Kids Kaleidoscope program for the last 3 years. This year, I'll also be heading the high school scholarship. I took over the Kids Kaleidoscope program from Suzanne Nicolias, who's in the back. She's been my mentor and just so connected to the youth here in Escondido. It's been a real pleasure to work at the Kids Kaleidoscope program. We work with about 15 local Escondido schools, public, charter, private, and homeschool. The kids are so excited to see their art on the walls, and there's always a debate about if the judge got the winner right, and it's an exciting time, especially at our reception, which is happening this year on March 14th. We'd love to see you there. And like Adrian said, there is this feeling of an Escondido art renaissance, and this kind of ushers the kids into it at a young age. And we're very excited to continue the program and to just make it better year after year. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I have one question. How many children, how many young people does this serve?
Last year, we had over 100.
Thank you.
This year, our plans to expand it further and keep growing it. We think it's the beginning of something that could be really
So you had
exciting.
over 100 last year, and you hope to serve how many this year?
I think the goal would be if we can hit about 130, something like that. Also, the idea is to recruit the submissions and then also go through a curation process as well as an awards and jury process.
Okay, thank you. Other questions?
And of those 100 submissions, what generally would you say is the breakdown between homeschool, charter, and public school?
It's a good mix from all of them. Yeah.
I noticed in the proposal that your partnerships don't necessarily call out specifically that you work with the local school districts or the charter schools to help to promote it. I'm just wondering, what's been your process so far to advertise those things so that you do get more submissions?
So for me, it's personal outreach, working directly with the teachers at the different schools. So we have good relationships. Like our best relationship is actually with a private school because they have a really robust art program. But we are working. I send out contacts to every school that I have contact for, and we're still definitely in the outreach process right now, so we have a lot of room to reach out to many more if you have suggestions.
I do.
Yeah.
I think also one of the things, I wrote the grant, I have to admit, so some of the gaps in them are entirely my fault. But that I think that we have run programs like this in San Diego when I was at the Rev for Project Outreach. We've run programs in, I would imagine, 10 or 12 major U.S. cities as well. It's all about communication. It's all about communication. And if we don't tell the story, we don't get the submission engagement.
I had an art school at my home for 14 years for children, and also spent 45 years volunteering in schools teaching art. I am totally in favor of capturing those wonderful, excited minds that aren't afraid to try art. And so anything we can do in this city to get our students while they're young and capture their imaginations is critical. So thank you.
May I share a comment? This weekend I was at a presentation, and one of the members of the organization, I won't even mention them, they're local, one of the elder gentlemen came up to me and he said, you know, I have a 12-year-old grandson, and all he does is play video games on an iPad, on his game show. How can we get him into art? This is an absolute true story. He said to me, how can we engage him? I said, I think we could do it. If you tell me, we'll take a look at that. But for sure, we could engage them in, even if it's MAGA and electronic creation and cartoon, that's still art. We can start there. I said, it's very possible. And he was really at his wit's end, because as the technology became dominant, children are giving up art. They're not self-exploring their creativity and expression. So, and I know from a personal experience, I had a very troubled adolescence, and art saved my life. Sculpture saved my life. Woodcraft saved my life. I would not be here today if an art teacher had not grabbed me and said, here, I'll help you. So that I speak from personal experience.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
I do have a couple other comments. So I was noticing in the budget that, and I will just tell you that I'm a former deputy superintendent of the elementary school district here in Escondido. So I know the demographic of the students that are here in our community, many of whom access is just a difficult thing, which we have wonderful. Now, there's a lot of extra revenue for after-school kinds of programs, so our kids are getting exposed to many more things than they were even 5 years ago. But access to materials for them to create something is sometimes a big barrier, and I noticed that there isn't anything in the budget that necessarily calls out art materials for students to be able to engage. And then in terms of the budget myself, I'm completely for this anytime we can get kids, just as Terry said. But in the budget, it seems heavy to me in the area of marketing and all of that, when I know that there is absolutely free ways for you to access way more people to be able to do that without having to spend that money. So I'm in favor of this, but I'm not necessarily in favor of it at the monetary level that's stated here.
I understand your comments. I think they're very fair. The prizes that we give to the younger students are not cash. They are art materials. That's the whole intent, to sort of feed that loop cycle. So they get, and they're nice materials. There'll be a watercolor set or an acrylic set so they can paint with and take them home. And so that's where some of those costs are in the awards budget.
The awards, but I'm talking about, for me, mostly it's like in the digital marketing, in the marketing display signage, all of that. Those are things that they're taking up a larger portion of the budget than I would like personally, just as an individual commissioner, would like to see. And those other things that are absent would be things that I would be more likely to favor. And, you know, one of the big issues for all of us who are artists, and I consider myself an artist, although I'm a performing artist, I'm a musician artist, is that, you know, we never get credit for what we actually provide to the human race, which is the ability to be human. So I am 100% in favor of the arts and a very big proponent of it. But because we get limited funds and we have a certain amount to spend for the whole year, I also feel that in order to be a good steward, I have to think about, okay, is this, the percentage that we have left, is this worthy of that percentage of what we have left to spend?
Understand. Understand it's a balance we all wrestle with.
Sorry.
I just wanted to add to what Commissioner Sackfield said. I think I agree with everyone here. I wouldn't be in the position that I am without the encouragement from my art teachers throughout my public education either. So I'm heavily in favor of any project that supports children and younger adults to encourage them to participate in artwork. But I think my main concern was that we are only in January, and looking at our budget, I would agree also that it is heavily on the marketing as well.
It is, no question, but I agree, and I understand your concerns. I think I would just say one small response to it, which is that I do feel in Escondido, we don't market the arts very well. It's a terrible thing to say, but I just feel that we kind of starve them a little bit. And so when we put it together, I said, no, as we're having a conversation with how can we get the word out? We can, yes, access a lot of free digital. We'll absolutely do that. We'll leverage the most we can for free. But we also can place some things which were very easy to do because digital marketing communications is now so accessible that we can do that. We'll promote and add to that. So I think it's a combination of both. It's print versus digital as well, that split in the budget. Do we go print? Ginger and I talked about it. I said, print? What are we doing in print? And she said, no, it's still essential. In the communication, the educational system, you still need some print materials. So we put those in. So I just share that with you. But I understand your concern.
Thank you. I think Commissioner Keller.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with my fellow commissioners and their sentiments. I think art materials, if there's some sort of way to, rework the budget for that, because I think that is such a good point. We want to fully let them express themselves and not feel limited by the tools that they have at home. And I think that will really help. I really admire what you do. I think, this is the kind of stuff that is like a core memory. For me as a child, these are core memories for me, anything related with the arts. So that really means a lot. And then I wanted to ask, a couple things. So March 14th, I see is the opening reception. I see that lands on the second Saturday of the month. So I guess I'm curious about any association with our second Saturday, art walk. And then also, if you could explain the gallery operations, like what is like the scheduling like? Is it just in the evenings? Is it just on the weekends? And then I do want to add on to the comments made about digital marketing. I work in a nonprofit. I used to do, a lot of digital ads on social media, and being from a nonprofit, I know how to make $100 go very far. And so, when I see this budget, I'm like, wow, okay. It's obviously you want to reach a lot of people, but I do think you can do a lot with even just $500 to $600 if it's targeted accurately and correctly, and your audience, and how to utilize it to the best of your ability. If you just throw $1,000 into Meta, believe me, they'll take it. But you can make a few $100s go really far if you know how to target. So if you could, I'm curious if any of my commissioners could comment on the second Saturday, if this would have any relation, or if you would know, and then also curious about the gallery operations.
It's definitely, the Escondido Art Association participates in second Saturday, and is that the evening that you do the big showing of the kids' work?
Yeah, I have a couple things. I'll answer some of the things you said. One, Adrian, who wrote out the budget, Thank you, Adrian, while he was at an art retreat, and so we didn't have the chance to really fully hash it out. But is it Leela? Leela, speaking, to the outreach of the public schools. I think that might be one of the reasons we've had, they haven't, we have more opportunity with the public schools, maybe because they don't have the art material or the full-blown art programs. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And if the budget were to be as is, it could be, we could include, I don't want to intrude, but I think there's room to include materials or just more of a material and hands-on focused within that marketing budget. Adrian, he's the man when it comes to talking about budget, though, so I don't want to step on any toes. But I think there's a lot of opportunity there to reach more public school kids. And then the second Saturday
I can speak to that. We're huge supporters of Art Walk and Second Saturday, huge. And we've worked directly in a number of ways to do the Gathering on Grand because my wife and I, who's also an artist and a performer, I should say, dance performer, but we went up to Laguna and saw they have a little gathering before they do their art walk. And we said, gosh, and there were a couple hundred people there.
I don't want to step on your story too much, but I think we want to stay on track. They're
Anyway.
absolutely involved in Second Saturday.
Great. We will definitely
Okay.
support.
And I'm sorry, this may have already been mentioned. Is this entirely free for the children that participate?
Yes, entirely free.
Okay.
And we could allocate some of the marketing dollars directly into more materials. We'd be open to doing that.
Okay. Any more comments, commissioners?
Yes, two comments. One, without art, Nikki St. DeFal would not have the art. It saved her life. So I understand that. I know how important it is to have a passion, and this certainly is an outlet for children. We did, when we were doing our work plan, we did have line items for requests for things that we did not anticipate. We're only in January, and I'm concerned about, but it wasn't a big amount. Was it 50,000?
Correct. There was $50,000 placed in community requests, and that started in July. So those funds have to wait. You have till June of this year to expend them, and you have spent about $21,000 on the Escondido outdoor gallery.
That concerns me. I mean, this is great, but there's going to be a lot of other ideas that if we don't have, where do we pull it from? And I'd like to see it go forward, but I agree with everyone here. I think it's a wonderful project, but I do think that we need to kind of curtail how much we spend at this point so early in the year.
I understand.
I would like to make a motion that we grant the Escondido Art Association $6,000 towards this Kids Kaleidoscope project. $6,000.
I second that motion.
I would just like to say that I would support that motion if there was an agreement to utilize some of the marketing monies to provide an opportunity if a student were to need supplies to engage with you.
We agree to do that, absolutely, 100%.
Any more comments or discussion?
I open the voting.
I'm still learning. Where is the home? I'm home. Refresh. Okay.
Still getting used to the new voting system.
Yeah.
Okay, it's approved 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Please mark your calendars.
Oh, yes.
Come on by. Second Saturday Art Walk March. We'll be looking for you. It's a magnificent moment. Thank you. Thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you. Thanks for all you
Thank
do.
you.
Okay, and we are moving on to the next request, the public request for the Escondido Library mural.
Hello all, my name is Tim Topalov. I am the artist responsible for the mural that's happening at the Escondido Public Library. Okay, my name is Tim Topalov. I am the artist responsible for the mural at the Escondido Public Library. Before I begin, please apologize my appearance. I'm coming straight from the wall.
Tim, I did prepare a presentation if you want me to go over it, and then you can answer questions.
Yeah, that'll be
I put it
perfect.
all if you want to take a seat, if you want,
Yes.
right over there.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, Management Analyst for Economic Development, and this presentation is the Escondido Library Mural Community Request with Tim Tuplove. In today's agenda, we'll be going over the background on the mural, the request for funding, and the recommended actions. Today, we will provide you with some background on the mural currently being installed on the corner of Calmia and East 2nd on the Escondido Library building. We will review the recommended changes to the approved design by the artist and the funding request. After I present the slides, the Public Art Commission will be asked to consider funding and will have the opportunity to ask the artist questions. So, some background on the mural. The Escondido Community Foundation gifted the City of Escondido a mural titled A Kumeyaay Creation Story by artist Tim Tuplove. At the November 2024 meeting, the Public Art Commission voted to accept the artwork with support from the San Pascual Band of Kumeyaay Indians. Below is the mock-up of which was approved by the Escondido Community Foundation and the Public Art Commission on behalf of the City of Escondido. No public art funds were spent towards this mural, and all funding came from the Escondido Community Foundation. In November 2025, the artist and city staff met to review details and began work on January 2026. As the artist began to work, he noticed a section that would make an excellent expansion to the mural. He reached out to staff and inquired about funding for this project. Due to time constraints, the request needed to come to the full commission and was unable to go to subcommittee in time for review. In the request, Tim Tuplove stated the following 5 reasons why this expansion of the mural is necessary. He states, "My vision is to extend the night sky over it and add the Six Sisters constellation. He would need $4,500 to do this. The funds would be going to the rent extension, the primer, paint, sealant, and labor. He has spoken to the construction team, and they have put the roof tiles for that section on hold in anticipation of approval. Everyone from the library director to the Escondido Community Foundation is enthusiastic about the overall addition." As you can see below, this is the first mock-up the artist sent over, which was included in your agenda packet. And then if you want to come on up, Tim, this is his most recent image. And then this is the mock-up with that section added.
Yeah, so we're talking about that triangular wall on the left. As it stands right now, in my opinion, it does somewhat prevent the mural from looking whole. Also, the highest point, the moon, and the burning Kumeyaay god can be seen from Grand Avenue and from other distant areas of the city, which creates a point of interest that draws people into the art. It invites them to come closer, while the triangular wall can be seen from a whole different side of town. And I believe that noticing that in the skyline just adds a little sparkle. I think it's worth pursuing that.
So the recommended action is for the Public Art Commission to approve the community request to fund the expansion of the mural, A Kumiai Creation Story, in the amount of $4,500. Let's know if you have any questions.
I have one. In the packet we received, the request appears to be $3,500.
Correct.
And today we're looking at $4,500. Did something change?
Yes, I got up there on the lift, I stepped on the roof to see how it is, and I decided that it would be unsafe for a single person to work alone over there, and I intend on including my assistant, so it would be 2 people working there together instead of 1, which is an additional $1,000 for that.
Thank you.
How many days do you anticipate needing an extra person?
5.
5 days. I will make a personal statement that I do agree that it wraps around so nicely. It's not distracting with a white panel in the midst of all this beautiful painting and storytelling.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you saw that.
Awesome piece. Can't wait to see. I mean, it's really cool seeing it now in progress, and I think we can tell you're putting a lot of work into it. Obviously, you come straight from the job. I kind of love it. Sandra, I think this might be a question for you. Does this come from our 50K pool?
Correct.
Got it.
And like I stated before, you spent 21, and then you have funded 6,000, so that puts you at about 27,000 spent. And you're at half point of the year.
Got it. Thank you.
So what I'm seeing is your extra person would be getting about $200 a day to assist you.
Yes, that is
How
it.
many hours in each day?
8 hours at $30 an hour.
Okay, thank you.
I really like the work so far.
Thank you.
I've been seeing on social media, and I got to see it in person too. And I like that you mentioned that you can see it from a distance, because I was on Grand and I could see some of the mural. So I am very much in agreement that it would add to the aesthetic of the final piece as well.
Had the Community Foundation been approached about possibly assisting with that addition?
They are aware of my intentions. However, I have not heard back from them regarding funding. However, they have already provided an additional $5,000 for the hiring of an assistant.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Shall I make a motion that we approve this $4,500?
Sure, I would second that.
Okay, I have the voting open. And it's approved 6-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, it's beautiful.
I deeply appreciate it.
Thank you.
It is beautiful.
Okay, moving on to item number 4, artwork at the library, Dia Session.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, Management Analyst for the Economic Development Department, and I will be presenting on the artwork at the Escondido Library. In today's presentation, you will see we will be going over the art piece Battle of San Pascual. We'll be reviewing the art piece North by Northwest, and we'll be going over some recommended actions. The purpose of this agenda is to review the dia session recommendations. So first, we are speaking about the Battle of San Pascual. One moment, sorry. Okay, in September of 2025, city staff received direction to review some options for this piece. We have since then found the plaque that went on the mural, like next to the mural. We contacted the San Pascual Battlefield volunteers. We have spoken to the Escondido History Center, and both parties decided this would be the best fit, would be for this piece to be relocated to the train depot for the Escondido History Center's ownership. The next one is North by Northwest. We went on a tour, city staff went on a tour and reviewed this piece with other staff members, and it is warped. There's rusting. We don't believe, any of the experts did not believe we could take this out without damaging the integrity and the intention of the artist of this piece. So this one would be for full dia session. And so the recommended action would be for the Public Art Commission to approve the dia sessioning of the Battle of San Pascual and North by Northwest as recommended by city staff. Thank you, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Now, you said dia sessioning of the battle, and with it going to the History Center.
Correct. So dia sessioning would take it out of the public art portfolio, meaning full responsibility for that painting would be given to, it's a gift now, to the Escondido History Center.
Just curious, they have room for this?
Yes, they were measuring and they are gonna put it in the train depot. There's a wall in the back. They're looking at two locations, but they think it'll be the wall where their conference room is in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It'll also make a very lovely addition. They don't have much on the San Pascual battlefield.
I love it.
And they will be in charge of any type of repairs done to it?
Correct. That's the other point of dia sessioning. We would not be in charge of any kind of repairs or anything to the artwork. It would be up to the Escondido History Center.
And are we delivering it, or
They will pick it up.
installing it?
City staff
Okay.
will handle the movement of the artwork. Currently, it is sitting in temperature-controlled storage space.
Thanks for your work on this.
I'll make a motion. I will make the motion to accept the staff's recommendation. I'm glad to see it going to the History Center, another jewel in our community.
I second that.
Voting is open. No, I just. You're fine. You're fine. There you go. Yay. Yes. Okay, approved 6-0.
Okay, item number 5, Public Art Annual Work Plan.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar, Management Analyst for the Economic Development Department, and I will be presenting on the 2026-2027 Public Art Annual Work Plan. Today's agenda will be to review the annual work plan timeline per the Public Art Strategic Plan. We will be reviewing the 2025-2026 Public Art Annual Work Plan, and we will see some staff recommendations for carryover projects and recommended actions. As outlined in the Public Arts Strategic Plan, in January, we would appoint the annual work plan subcommittee. That was actually done in July of 2025 when you appointed all of the subcommittees, but back we can review that. And really today is to provide the first round of direction of what type of projects you would like the subcommittee to discuss. In March, a draft of the proposed plans would be reviewed. Any changes could be suggested by the full commission. In May, the final plan is reviewed and approved by the full commission. And then in July, the Public Art Annual Work Plan is presented to the council for review and adoption, along with everything you've already completed in the previous work plan. And then August would be our solicitation and project work that would begin. So as a reminder, the 25-26 Public Art Annual Work Plan covered 3 sections: art solicitation, art education, and deaccessioning. Under art solicitation, you had the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project, the Escondido Creek Trail Art Project, the Escondido Expressions Traffic Signal Box Project, and the Community Request Fund. Under art education, you had Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month, the Banner Program, the Escondido Union High School District Student Murals, and the Queen Califia's Visitor Center. And lastly, for decommissioning, you were to review the art pieces Mercado Grande series by Tema Damlo and the Pillars of the Community by Wick Alexander. The 3 projects I'm suggesting be carried over would be the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project, since that will most likely not be completed by July 1st. The Escondido Creek Trail Art Project as well may not be completed by July 1st. And the Queen Califia's Magical Circle Visitor Center would be in place, but it would just be starting in place, so we wouldn't have a full year, so I'm recommending that one as a carryover project as well. So under recommended action, right now it's to provide direction on projects for the 2026-2027 Public Art Work Plan from the commissioners.
I mentioned a while ago about the giraffe being painted on the mall steps, and the mall is actually very excited about that possibility. And as a commission, we, I believe, voted on being able to do that during this next work plan. I'm wondering if there is still interest in that. I think it'll add a lot to the mall, and also supporting our community of having the safari park for visitors driving by, with the idea that in the future we could add more animals on different parts of the wall. Perhaps Penny's wall, which is very blank, facing Via Rancho Parkway, would be another possible site. I would like to see this put on the work plan. And then I also have a second one that I had mentioned are the 11 seats that are over by Washington Park Pool that are very barren and very plain, and I don't think are attractive. Some of them have been painted by non-students, or actually would like to see students participate in this within the community from all 3 high schools. So that is a second one that I'd like to see on the work plan.
So would those 2 projects fall under a couple of different categories? The giraffe, for instance, I think might be a community request project. I'm not sure.
We can organize them wherever the subcommittee sees fit. So at this moment, I am looking for any suggestions from all commissioners, and then the subcommittee would meet and discuss how to best lay these out for the year and which projects to take on.
Would the Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month not roll over? Is there?
No.
It would not roll over. You would have to allocate new funding if you want to do it again for another year.
Yeah, this is what wasn't finished, and we're...
Would you like me to go back to that slide?
Yeah, but, so I'm trying to understand how to address Commissioner Ryan's discussion here.
It would fall, most likely, I would think it's under art solicitation.
Yeah.
You could make it its own project, but again, that would be a discussion for the subcommittee to
Yeah.
dive into. At this point, we're just looking for suggestions of what should the subcommittee discuss.
Well, I agree with what you're wanting to roll over. I remember the benches. I don't want to belabor this too much. I don't think at this point it can be a specific line item on the work plan, as Sandra is saying, it's going to be addressed at a subcommittee level. We just don't know exactly where.
And this would be for the 2026-2027 work plan, correct?
Excuse me. I was hoping that the giraffe would be on this particular one and the benches put off to 26, 27.
Okay, so the giraffe is something that we'll decide which subcommittee that needs to go in front of.
Yes.
Yes.
For this annual work plan, there is no money allocated for the draft, so the subcommittee would have to discuss that.
Yeah.
I think it would still be the work plan subcommittee, seeing as they would be adding to that.
Did everybody have an opportunity to see the slide that I had done? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Is that a chicken feed company project still?
The Vita Gold, right? Correct?
In consideration, yeah.
I have not heard back about that project moving forward, but I'm happy to reach out and give you an update. And to
Which
see
project?
The Vita Gold egg
The big chicken
silo.
feed.
That kind of lost its momentum because the Community Foundation was negotiating with them. And that's going to be so big.
Yes, exactly, right. That's why I
that's
was like.
That's a
oh,
couple
right.
years off, I think.
Yeah. So not for, where it's at, probably not then. Because it seemed like it was starting to become a bigger thing then.
Yeah, they were waiting for
initially.
their silos, if that's their grain. Yeah, they're waiting for them to be delivered, and they're long-time manufacturing, so it's a ways off.
Got it.
And I don't know why I'm having such a terrible time with this giraffe. Are you suggesting that we should put the giraffe on the work plan? Or does it just roll into a subcommittee?
It would roll into a subcommittee, and it would be Commissioner Ryan's suggestion to place this on the work plan.
Would you like me to say that?
No, like I said, right now,
Well,
it's
you can make a motion.
Yeah.
I wrote it down, so I'm just going to writing down all your suggestions, because she's just asking for direction from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not, there's no vote today on this item. It's
Yeah.
just recommendation, like, hey, I remembered there was a project, like Commissioner Ryan is stating, that she would like to move forward. This is your time to voice it.
This particular item, I'll jump in as well. Jennifer Shenig, Director of Economic Development. This is an item where staff can work with a commissioner and speak to the mall management to come up with a pathway that can also be discussed in the work plan subcommittee as well. So we appreciate your feedback on any idea you'd like to see move forward this work plan, but especially for this upcoming work plan. And so as staff, we'll get back to you on that conversation as well and how we might be able to move forward with that in other ways.
Thank you.
So I'm being new, I'm still a little bit confused. So when we're doing this at this moment, we're not saying these things will be on the work plan. We're just saying these might be things we want to think about being on the work plan.
Correct. This is sort of round one brainstorming.
So I'm wondering why arts, culture, and creativity wouldn't be one of the things suggested to move forward to the next work.
You absolutely can suggest it. It just ends every year. And this is your opportunity to say, I love the program. I would like it to continue. The same with Escondido Expressions. It's been going many years. And again, this is your time to voice support for any of the other ones. The only ones that staff is suggesting is because they have to, because of the rollover. The other ones are completely up to you.
Yeah. I mean, I think We're just getting momentum as a community, and as some of our community members have stated, that this is a hub. Escondido, we were once an agricultural community, and we still have agriculture, but this is something that makes us very unique. With the Center for the Arts right there, the downtown, the Escondido Alley Art, I think we need to capitalize on that. I think it's an economic driver, and it would be something that I would want to see on the plan annually for a long time.
I agree with you. It's, in this particular thing, though, it's not a carryover. So we are going to accept staff's recommendation to carry over these 3 projects, and we look to including art, culture, and creativity, the banner program, the student murals, in our plan next year.
I would like to add a point of clarification. When we talk about carryover in this context, we're just looking at the financial commitment and on our budget, and I think that was not clear. So this is a carryover.
That's what I didn't understand.
Of funds. So you can still do these projects, but the funding for these projects will be rolled over into the next fiscal year.
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification.
I really enjoyed having like the well-rounded categories of each of them. I think they made our subcommittee meetings also flow a lot easier because we had different goals in mind. So I enjoy the categories that exist, is my feedback.
Is there any suggestions from our commissioners on pieces that we would maybe decommission? I know it's a...
I do have a remark. I don't quite understand how we can put up these beautiful pieces all around town, and then they start to go in disarray. I've always said, if we as a commission don't respect the property, the public won't either. And a good example is the one that's by Barnes & Noble. At the beginning, when I first brought this up, because we had zip code assignments, and that was in my zip code, that there was one panel missing of the tile. The tile was still there in a piece, and we haven't been able to do anything about it. And now there must be 5 to 10 pieces missing. It's actually quite a beautiful structure, sculpture, and we still don't have fundings in our city. So it's hard for me to see these beautiful pieces go up and know once they go in disarray that we don't have any money for maintenance. I don't quite understand that.
The public art funds that you oversee, unfortunately, can't be used for maintenance. I mean, I completely understand your sentiment. It's just we can't use those funds for that. It has to be for new art. Staff is exploring possibilities for maintenance, but that would be an internal conversation.
One additional comment on that, as the community has heard this request and need for maintenance. When staff went to the city council to approve your work plan for this fiscal year, one of the items we committed to the city council was coming back with suggestions on how to fund maintenance moving forward. So city council is expecting staff to come back with recommendations based on conversations that we will continue to have between now and July when the fiscal year 26-27 work plan is brought to city council.
Will we have an opportunity to know that date so that we can attend personally rather than as a commission?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you, Commissioner Ryan. I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
We're accepting the recommendation.
Huh?
We're accepting your recommendation for the carryover projects.
Do you have any pieces you would like staff to explore for decommission?
No, we want to fix them.
Absolutely. I understand. And it is just an exploration. As a reminder, the Mercado Grande series we're still exploring right now, not fully decommissioning that piece. And we will be presenting, well, you'll see later on that we will be presenting on the pillars of the community and update next meeting.
And I quickly said no. Do any of you have suggestions on work that might need to be deaccessioned? No. Okay. And
No.
no. And that takes us to the staff liaison report, item number 6.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Sandra Aguilar.
And I'm Nicolini Katanik.
We're with the Economic Development Department, and we will be presenting these staff updates. We will be going over project updates, April's Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month designs, and the Queen Califia's Magical Circle updates. The work on Escondido Expressions Phase 4.0 has started. At this time, we have 3 artists painting currently, and the other artists have all signed their agreements, and we are waiting on them to start painting as well. Currently, the Escondido Expressions 4.1 call for artists has been released. We've already received 2 submissions so far, and we will be closing on February 16 of 2026. The next project that was resumed was the Escondido Creek Trail call for artists. The work on this has resumed, and the staff have written a call for artists with recommendations from the subcommittee. It will be reviewed it will be released to the public in the coming weeks, with the goal of having those 3 art pieces. So we would have channel murals, a mural on the neighborhood healthcare building, and a sculpture. Next, the projects from the Art Speaks Escondido Community Foundation. We have the Escondido Creek murals. So unfortunately, the resilience was defaced twice. Staff went out and cleaned it. There was a police report filed. The artist contractor, Gloria, has since repaired that mural, and a piece of the fence has been added to help protect that space. Staff is also working on increased patrols and signage for the area. And for Threshold 5, we have great news. It was on last Thursday, the final permitting went through. So we are now in the process of signing the final contract and setting an installation date for Threshold 5 inside Kit Carson Park. For the Escondido Avenue Roundabout art project, we have a meeting where, on the November 17th meeting, the Public Art Commission selected the top 3 artists, and we have a meeting this Thursday for the artists to be interviewed by the commissioners. All the artists will be asked the same questions. And we have the Escondido Alley Art Community Request that is moving forward. The agreement has been signed and funding will be given to them. We are working on setting some dates for the mural dedication. We wanted to show the Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month branding that was created by internal staff. So the inspiration came from a person who is performing, dancing, celebrating art in Escondido. The banners and all of the different marketing materials would be branded with this every year moving forward. And I turn it over to Nicolina to talk about Queen Califia.
For our visitor data for November and December, we were open for 10 days in November and 7 in December. In November, we were able to get around 1,388 visitors, and we had 0 private tours. In December, we had 769 visitors logged, and we were able to have 1 private tour. Our private tour fees through both months was at $50. We are at now active docents 30, and no new docents between those 2 months. And the number of docent hours for both of those months was added up to 116 hours. On Monday, December 8th, volunteer docents met with Eugene Ciancinelli, geologist and member of the Palomar Gem and Mineral Club, for our quarterly docent gathering at our garden. Mr. Ciancinelli identified the rocks and minerals for us, which the docents will be able to relay to our curious visitors. The docents were thrilled to learn so much about the rocks from a very reliable source. With Mr. Ciancinelli's visit, staff were able to create a new educational resource titled Rock Scavenger Hunt. This will be posted on our website to help promote the education of our rocks to young children during both our regular scheduled hours and private tours, adding to the excitement of visiting our garden. An update on our holiday hours, which we posted on Visit Escondido. During our special holiday hours for Thanksgiving week, we were able to keep our garden open for 4 days and recorded a total of 606 visitors. Unfortunately, due to the rain, we were unable to open for both Christmas and New Year's. On Saturday, January 19th, community members and students of Miracosta College joined us at our sculpture garden. They assisted in raking and sweeping leaves, dusting our sculptures, and wiping down dirt on our black and white maze, as well as part of a special MLK Serve Day project. By the end of the project, the group nearly filled 70 garbage bags filled with leaves and fallen branches. Many people have already commented on how much of a difference it made while visiting, so we are hoping to schedule a few more through Miracosta and a few other community groups to help keep our garden clean. And ending today's announcements on Queen Califia's Magical Circle, I wanted to extend a fun invitation to our Valentine's Day event entitled Tea with the Queen on Sunday, February 8th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Enjoy a morning of tea, finger sandwiches, and desserts while you enjoy the sculpture garden with your friends. Activities include shopping with a local vendor, a keepsake photo, postcard, and more. Tea attire is welcomed and encouraged. Tickets are $30 per person, and they can be purchased by calling the Grand Tea Room. Their information is on Visit Escondido, and a portion of all those proceeds will go to the Preservation Fund.
Nicolina, question. Now, will the tea be held inside the garden?
Yes, just right outside. It will be through the gates, but just right
Before
before.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's-
We're utilizing
food
that
thing.
space right around it, but we will be protecting, obviously, of the sculpture and from any damage or staining from food.
Nicolina, have you ever considered doing the FFA students, those are Future Farmers of America, at Escondido High School and San Pascual High School, helping with the cleanup?
Yeah, I can definitely reach out. We're very open to different community groups. I think once they see other people helping, naturally people want to help. So yeah, I'm open to any suggestions.
So that's FFA, both high schools, and they are generally sophomores through seniors.
Okay.
Thank you. Great job, both of you. Thank you so much for your work.
You mentioned that Calvin Christian, they're always looking for service hours, too.
Yeah, we're working on expanding our volunteer docents, and obviously staffing is what will help that, as well as being open consistently is attracting other docents. That's why we're seeing an increase in volunteer and volunteer groups. We've been partnering a lot with the volunteer group here at City Hall with the staff so that they can point groups who are interested in doing a project in Escondido our way, because there's lots of work to be done. And lastly, the next meeting agenda, which is tentative, will include the Escondido Expressions Phase 4.1, the Grand Avenue Roundabout Art Project with the final artist selection, the Escondido Creek Trail Art Project, the Escondido Union High School District Student Murals, and the Public Art Annual Work Plan. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody got anything to share that we didn't cover on the agenda? Something wonderful that you did? I saw some wonderful art that we all have to go see.
I would like to share that coming up at the California Center for the Arts is going to be a concert of a very special group of people. It's called Voices of Our City Choir, and it is a choir made up of unhoused that rehearse in San Diego at the Episcopal Cathedral. It's something that we at the center, I was able to go visit and sing with them, which was really lovely to be able to have that opportunity about 3 years ago. So we've been trying to make that happen, and it is a part of the free First Wednesday concert series this year. So come out and support them. I believe it's the 8th. I'm not positive, but it's on the CCAE. It's in February. It's coming very, very soon. No, it's not the 8th. I don't know. Well, I'll have to look. I'll look. But it's on the website and all over social media too, so. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was fun. Lots of fun.
Since you asked, Carol, I did really have such a good time during Small Business Saturday. I mean, the way that, we were able to promote local businesses, galleries, oh my gosh, like, believe me, I did not look at my credit card statement after that. But I found so many places that I wouldn't otherwise find myself in because I'm naturally very competitive. So I wanted to, do a blackout on the bingo card. And it was really awesome. I enjoyed it so much. And I could see everyone else in Escondido, going to all these different places, along Grand, right off of Grand. Got to see one of the new businesses, the bamboo art. Yes, it was. Yeah, so just want to say that was incredible. I just am really delighted to see, what's going on in our community. And it was so much fun. Yeah.
I committed to buying all my Christmas presents local, and I did.
Thank you. That just reminded me, second Saturday, the Downtown Business Association is working on submitting for a grant that will allow us to have music in several places on Grand every second Saturday.
That's awesome.
And so it's coming soon, provided we get that grant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hopeful.
Great work.
This is just a personal note. I want to tell you how much I appreciate everybody that serves on this commission and the staff support. I've been involved in politics before at another city, and they haven't been so kind and as polite as you have towards each other.
Mhm.
You accept ideas, and you've never lost it. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
I do have a question. If we're about ready, are you about ready to adjourn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a procedural question regarding all the public comment. I think it's really important that we had a lot of public comment regarding the roundabout, and having not been on the commission during the beginnings of this process, there were some things that were very compelling to me in regards to particularly comments made around a weightedness, and what one person said was an undue weightedness towards paperwork and what seemed to be simpler. And I know that making our way through things like, well, all the things that cities have to do for codes and all of that, I know that that's really challenging. But that was something that really resonated with me, and also just the fact that we do have a very robust arts community here, and if there was a weightedness, which I was reading that said, we were looking for it to look like Escondido. I'm just curious as to what else can be done about that process. I notice that's going to come back up. Is it past the time to talk about any of that procedurally, or is it Another thing that resonated with me is that it's a lot of money for one thing. And I really, I have a vision myself of the property that we have right here and the opportunity to have a sculpture garden, other interactive sculptures that we could have within the city. So I'm just wondering where we are in that process and if there's an opportunity to engage with those comments in any way.
May I just respond to one little part of that? The budget is not necessarily for a single sculpture.
Okay.
Specifically in this recent RFQ and in the first one, we ask for companion sculptures throughout the city or downtown. So
Okay.
it is not for a single sculpture.
Thank you.
And I'm not on that subcommittee, so I should probably stop at that.
Do you want me to answer? So you can go ahead and place it on the future agenda. So you just need 2 commissioners, and then staff will place that on the next agenda to discuss. So
Well, I saw something on the next, was that not something?
So currently, we're on track for Thursday to have the interview with the artist. So we are not at the RFP process yet. We are still whittling down the RFQ process, looking at qualifications specifically for the artists. That was going to be the next portion, and then public input. If you place it for the next, you would have to vote, like Serena stated. It would stop that process. We'd have to go to subcommittee to discuss, vote again in March, and that would
push off the
Yes, correct. That would reset your timeline. So that's something to discuss. And then I'm sure Jennifer has something too.
Thank you, Sandra. That's the correct process. So with the public input you heard, if you'd like to take a moment as a commission to review the process so far, understand if you want to keep that process or change the process, you would place it on the future agenda for review of the process. And it would pause where we're at so that you can have a moment to discuss that together as a commission and with the community. Or we can continue the process as is. And Sandra mentioned, then we'll bring back the final questions that we've asked the artists this next time. When we come back in March, we will explain the full process that we have been through so far with the subcommittee and with the community so that you can see each piece of that. The $500,000, that was something that was approved by the city council in this work plan for that project. So if there is a pause on the process, we would also, or a change in the budget, we then receive that direction from the commission and we bring it to city council for approval to be able to move forward with a new and different process.
Commissioner Sackfield, I hear what you're saying, and I heard what the public's saying. I tend to agree with you that there maybe should be a pause. We should listen to what the public input was, which I heard they wanted Escondido artists, local artists.
So you can put it on the agenda, like, we don't want to talk about it right now too much. at all.
Yeah, no.
So basically, you can either, like, if you two would like to put that item on the agenda, like Jennifer said, I'll go ahead and say Commissioner Sackfield and Commissioner Ryan, and then we put it on like they said. You only need 2, just put something on another agenda. It's not
Right.
like a voting or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we don't want to talk about
No,
anything else.
no, I don't want to, I'm trying to figure out where we are in the process, and I don't want to derail, I don't want to do that and derail the work of the subcommittee. I know there was a rubric, there were all these, there was a lot that went into making that decision. So I was just, I don't know.
So here's one suggestion from the staff level, if I may, Commissioner Beth. So one potential option is that we continue with the process and you ask staff to explain that whole process when we come back in March. At the time of that meeting, you can say, we want to move forward with this recommendation, or we want to take a pause and do something different. So we can continue the process as is and simultaneously make room for that conversation at the next meeting. And I would specifically suggest a request to look at local procurement. As a city, we do not have a policy related to local procurement for anything that the city buys. I know that's something that the finance department is interested in exploring. I think they'll be speaking with city manager and council about that in the future. But if you, for the Public Art Commission process, you can discuss specifically a local procurement initiative that goes into the policies for this commission.
I just want to ask, and correct me if I'm wrong, is our timeline and our process, I thought we had outlined that somewhere on our website, or was it just in the application or the RFQ?
I would have to return to you on that. I do not know that answer off the top of my head.
Yeah, because I feel like looking at that process would help. And I believe that coming back in March and explaining that process will help glean a lot of information to our fellow commissioners.
I appreciate that, and I like that recommendation, because as I said, then we're not necessarily stopping the momentum, but we are providing an opportunity. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, and additionally, sorry, I don't want to be holding everyone from dinner, but additionally, we did take careful consideration into the questions that we're asking the artists this coming Thursday, and how they will work with the community to create a piece that is authentically Escondido. So we definitely take a lot of consideration into making a piece that people connect to. So we definitely, that's something that we continue to talk about and continue to think about.
Okay.
And stop me if I need to stop.
Yeah, it sounds like we need to stop. We need to stop having this conversation. Yes. Definitely on the agenda. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, we need one. Do we have two people? I'm
Well,
happy to
you
say.
could list three of us if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And sorry, learning my way.
No, that was great. Any more questions, comments? Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 6:02. Thank you all.